is where I'm going to use leverage a lot better. Okay, but the problem with that is the higher our hands are, easier it is for him to start clearing my hands. So if I go to here, it's really easy for him to get on the inside or just push my elbows up there. So we're going nice and low because it's going to help us keep the position. Okay, so when Jay throws the shot, it's up to you whether you clinch here or here. Me personally, I like to make sure that's blocked and then create my connection. Okay, but I'm sure if you watch me spar long enough, I will do it the opposite way around because I did. You know, just sometimes when you're just reacting to the situation, you do end up doing the opposite sort of thing. But as a safety thing, getting into this position by having that block is probably a little bit of a better option. So my hands quite low on the spine. The fingers go up past the crown of his, the base of his skull. Okay, so Jay's going to put a little bit of resistance in now. So I'm just using my fingers to break the posture. In a fight, I can use a bit of momentum by stepping back. I can even kind of jump up to bring the head down and all that kind of stuff. There's lots of different options. But if you get used to doing this first, it's the most efficient way of getting there without having to kind of really mess around with my posture or jump in the air. Okay, so elbows pinching, because if he starts trying to come into me now, it's a lot harder for him to create his clinch. He may go for like a body lock. It's going to be really difficult because of where my elbows are. Okay, so we did this in the trial session, so I'm going to step. And he's just going to stick his hands out away from his nuts and just hit 2 knees. Okay, so connect, defend, connect, tight plumb position, break the posture so the head's down, your head's up. Okay, turn and just nice and light, 2 knees on the hands, hands away from the body. Give it a go. 1, 2, 3. We're fighting against an opponent, probably more of a puncher, not really interested in wrestling or grappling. Okay, so this is where we're using these kind of clinches, where we've got a tie clinch. We use, I really like tie clinch, especially when you go against a wrestler. Wrestlers traditionally don't use a tie clinch at all. So if I get a really good wrestler who's coming in, I will tie clinch them a lot because it kind of stops a lot of their attacks. It makes it really hard to get around my body to go into like a control the back or go underneath and start shooting because of the blocks on the forearms. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is the collar and bicep control. Okay, so we can get to this in the exact same position, but the set's slightly different. So if he throws that big old hand right, I'm going to step in. This time, this hand has to go here first. Okay, so remember I said I'm going to teach something, tell you it's gospel. Absolutely not. Okay, so I'm going to go into this position. You can never see my hand. Just take it back up for us, Jay. There. A few of us are still kind of doing this with our hand. Okay, so we're not controlling the base of the skull, so it's going to be really hard to use leverage to pull that skull down. So just be really careful and kind of conscious of what the hand's doing. Anyway, back to the original story. So I clinch in. He's now going to try and hit me. Hand goes to the bicep. Okay. So this is how we're going to practice it. So we've got, again, that aggressive boxer who's just trying to knock us out. So aim, clinch, connect, and then control the bicep. And this is where we start with our collar and bicep control. Okay, so this is a really good position to defend against someone who's striking, and we might need to just have a bit of a break from having like a boxing war or anything. Okay, so Jay's just going to relax, just control the bicep. He's probably going to try and either hit me. If he does, that elbow goes up nice and high. He comes underneath to punch me, the elbow goes low. Okay, this is really good because we've got 4 planes of movement, and this is where we have to be careful where our hand goes. So when the hand's on the bicep, it goes on the bicep. It's not going underneath the elbow, it's not going over the top, because here I can push, pull, lift, drop. Okay, so it gives me loads of different options when we start wrestling. Yeah.
Where's your thumb?
Where's my thumb?
On his bicep. Is it underneath or over the top?
Always like that, like a motorbike grip.
Yeah.
Not a motorbike grip.
No,
Really? I'm going to buy a motorbike and I'm going to show them all. So like, paw grip. Yeah. Little kitten grip. Yeah. But yeah, grabbing the bicep doesn't really give you anything extra, if I'm honest. And from this position, by the time you kind of blocked that punch and you come in here, you don't really have time to grab. It's better to just have the hand in this position. I can still do everything I need to do to start pulling round, without the thumb. Excellent question. I'm glad we videoed that. That's ace. I've never rode a motorbike. I have rode a motorbike once and a quad.
You fall off?
Worse!
Did it go?
Worse! I drove over my own leg. I was little! Anyway, bicep control one more time. So we're not
Film that as well.
Kick to quad. Okay, into this position, then tuck your head in. Okay, give it a go. 1, 2, 3 questions. So just going around and mentioning this to a few people, like your head position, if you're clinching, you always kind of want your head up. Okay, so if your head's always looking down, it's going to be really difficult to kind of dominate the clinch, and you're in a position where, like, if they're stronger, you've taken away like your stronger position. So if we clinch here and I look down, even though I've got the better position, it's going to be much easier for Jay to control my head and eventually snap me down into like submissions and stuff. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at that kind of far arm, because we're all pretty good with this collar tie, so it's the arm control. What's really interesting, this always happens because it feels like the natural thing to do, is people are fighting to control the arm. Everyone's fighting to. You've got this kind of really intense look, watching it. Where's it going? Where's it going? Look! You know, it makes sense because that's the arm that's going to clip you if we were doing MMA. But I'm not worried about controlling his arm. I'm just following his arm. Okay. So if I clinch in and get into this position, his elbow lifts up. Then I've got stuff from this position. Okay. If his elbow goes down, that's when I might pass to an arm drag. Okay. So we're just going to look up and down to start off with. Okay, so I'm going to clinch in, collar tie, head hidden, his head goes up, his arm goes up to like hit me over the top. From his position, I'm going to elbow and step around. So he goes to try and hit me over the top, elbow, and then come round to grab in the back. Okay, so clinch in, his elbow goes up, elbow, and then just grip round the waist. Okay, we'll go into more kind of what we're going to do with that kind of grip as well. Let's do that to start off with. Just quickly, all we need is a minute. So from here, you feel the elbows going up, so the elbow's following. You're just going to elbow across and step around. This is where we start our dance pull. Okay, let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, maybe. So I'm going to throw my shot in at Jay. He comes in for his clinch. I go to hit him. Okay, Jay might struggle just to sneak under here, so he's going to drop his knee. So as I lift to try and hit, he's going to drop his knee and come through. As a shorter person, we can use this as well, because we actually, did you see how we kind of bent over a little bit? It just makes it a little bit harder for him to defend. So this is the next sort of progression, but for you taller guys, this is probably going to make it work a little bit more effectively. So even as a shorter person, coming in, clinch, defend that hand, he's going to push in a little bit on me, and this is where it works really well. Okay, I'm still in my normal fight stance with my left foot forward. As he starts driving in, so I walk forward as well, Jay, I'm going to drop my knee to just go underneath and get the clinch. Okay, when you're getting the clinch around the body as well, this isn't our focus today, but the two grips that you probably end up using here, one is which is a S grip, so fingers, and the other one which is gable grip, so the thumbs together. Okay, so we'll go into kind of why we use a gable grip as opposed to that thumb out position later. But yeah, just make sure you're nice and tight to the body. One more time, so if you stand this way, he throws his big shot, so here, defend, clinch, block that other shot, he starts riding in, elbow goes up, drop the knee, then round to your waist. Okay, let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, and over the top. So if the elbow goes down, we need some options here as well. So his elbow's going down, alright? So from this position, I'm going to do an arm drag. So it's a little more complex because there's a few more things to do. From this position, this hand goes round the back of the elbow first, okay? So it starts off here, the elbow's gone down into this position, this hand's going to go round, okay? As I go around, and this we do arm drags a couple of different ways, but from an MMA point of view, when this happens, we have to be pretty quick. I'm going to just slap the hand across, yeah, just nicely, not that or eat that all morning, it's no good. So here, his elbow goes down, and just slap it across, and then I'm just going to pull him across, okay? What I don't want to see is this, so I don't want to see this. We're wrestling, so we want to clinch them up, so keep them quite close. So the path that I'm looking at for that elbow to drag it across is there. So I want to be able to still get round and start grabbing his hip. Okay, so clinch, elbow goes down, 1, 2, and then pull. Okay, so pull it, just to the side of my side of my shoulder. Slap, then pull. It's up to you. Like people kind of. You know, like some people like to do that if you feel pretty, you know, comfortable. Like again, if you watch me wrestle, if I said this is an absolute truth, I guarantee you will see me do the opposite in that section. Because a lot of the time you're just reacting to what's going on. So here, I think that helps a little bit, but I've got a decent little pull, so sometimes I don't even need the slap. But what I need to stop, and the reason why we're just having that slap, I can't have him in a position where he can start coming round and grabbing my hip or my leg in this position. So that little bit of a slap and a pull just makes it a lot easier to come into these positions, which are called like a Russian tie, or the entry into a Russian tie. Okay, here we go, 1, 2, 3. This is more of a no-gi situation, but to kind of get your head round the arm drag position, we'll look at it as we're wrestling. So we're in a wrestling stance, we're in here, okay? So obviously in mixed martial arts, if you're doing that, you're probably getting kicks in the face. So, but this is why hopefully it makes sense why I don't teach this mixed martial arts. Okay, so I'm going to control the wrist first. So the same side is controlling the wrist. Okay, from this position, this hand's going to go up. Now, if I could retrain my brain, I would always come up into this position rather than to the elbow. Okay, if I'm closer to the shoulder, as I pull, I'm moving the body sooner, okay? Whereas if I go to the elbow, there's a little bit of a joint in the way, which means it's probably going to move before they move. Unfortunately, 20 years of grabbing the elbow, it's now a habit that's going to take me a long time to get out of my head. So if you're developing a new skill set, which is what we're all doing at the moment, get used to coming underneath kind of the armpit close to the shoulder. Okay, so from this position, I'm going to pull. Okay, so arm goes across and pull. Let's come round and take the back. Okay, so let's just do a couple of those just to get used to the arm drag as an isolated skill. So here, control the wrist, there, and pull. And then stay nice and close. Okay, again, it's not that whipping effect. Everyone will do that at least once. Okay, here, then round. You see now I'm trying to stay nice and close to the arm. Let's just give that a go. 1, 2, 3, posture, turn, couple of knees. Okay, from there, Jay's going to posture back up, and then he's going to try and hit me on the left side. So I'm going to block. Okay, he drives in, so as he's driving in, I'm going to drop that knee underneath and come round. We separate, he throws that shot again, in, he throws that other shot, hand goes down, I'm going to arm drag. Oh my God. You got it, guys. Okay, so we're just adding everything together. So this is kind of how we've structured the program, so it all kind of fits together, so it's all interchangeable. So close the distance, create a connection first into your tight plumb position. Yeah, butterfly, turn, and knee. He postures up. He tries to hit you, block, and then you're going to go underneath. Okay, as he pushes you in, drop the knee, round, and take the back. Let's just start with that before we start adding the other bit. Alright, all three. 1, 2, 3. Kind of with practicing the techniques, it's good. It kind of teaches us patterns and things like that, but this is not how a fight's going to go. Okay, so when you see people teach like some self-defense stuff or some more traditional arts, you know, you get the person throw the shot and then they throw the big arm around. Give me the same shot, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so into here, into there, very strong, looking really cool. Yeah, throw the 2 shots and then you know exactly what's coming next. He's going to throw that punch over the top. I block from here, he pushes in, and then I can get round, take the back and do. It's not going to look like that. So this is just us learning. We are going to do a little bit of sparring. You ready? Look at that smile. Okay. When we get into this position, if we don't pass this arm across and he ducks under, he's going to now start looking at getting his underhook. Okay, so as I was saying before, underhooks, you'll get sick to death of me saying it. So this is why we pass the arm across, but he's beat us. So he's been able to get his underhook on this side. It's really important that I get my underhook on the other side. Okay, so as soon as I feel his underhook, we eventually should get into a position where we're always programmed to underhook on the far side. Okay, so it's near side, that's far side. Okay, and this is where we get into pummeling. Alright? If we're in this position, it's kind of 50-50. Sometimes it depends on how skillful this person is. If he knows more in this position, then it's never 50-50. But you know, all attributes the same. We've been training the same amount of time. We've attended the same classes, and we've got the same amount of power. It's probably a 50-50 position. Okay, so he hits his underhook this side. I want to win the position, so to do that, I'm going to pummel underneath, and then get to a body lock position. So it's pretty much what we've been practicing, but I'm just facing him. So I'm going round, gable grip, into a body lock. The way that Jay defends this, on the side, is as I pummel my arm underneath, he does the same on the other side. We end up like shit, it's still 50-50. Okay, I'm going to get him this time. Fuck, still 50-50. Still 50-50. Still 50-50. And this is how he kind of, this is the next part of the bottling clinch. Okay, so nice and steady. We're not sparring just yet, it's coming. Okay, we're just going to go nice and easy, hand in nice and tight, and just pummel underneath. See how we're moving a little bit as well. Okay, so in wrestling, if we're just rigid, we're probably going to get put on our head. So we're always moving, nice and relaxed, just underneath the arm. Okay, you don't, what I love about this, you can tell who the young men are who've not had 20 years of having the head twisted to do this. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, like the silverback gorillas. It's too early, you know, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. So here, just nice and relaxed, but just get your feet moving as well. Yeah, so you can break dance a little if you want, you know, but just nice and relaxed underhooks. Give it a go. 1, 2. I'm taking my arm underneath the bicep. You see how low my elbow is. Okay. If my elbow's super high like this, what could he do? The duck under, yeah. So you can start looking to duck under and come up under this position. So we need to be really careful what we're doing when we're fighting to get our underhooks. So everyone's a tiny T-Rex. You little girl. Okay. And we're just gonna pummel. Now this is where being a short person really helps him fighting. Because Jay has to work a lot harder to get his pummeling than I do, because I'm little. Okay, so it's a lot easier to get that hand inside. So now there's going to be a bit of friction, so we're having to push our hands through. Okay, still working our feet, but keeping them elbows nice and tight. Not this big swim. Yeah, elbows in tight. Okay, so tiny T-Rex stronger, or you just win it all the time. Just kind of chill out. You don't have to win every single battle. Okay, so we're going to start off in underhooks, and the game is to get double unders. So both arms underneath. Okay, so go. Okay, once he gets that connection, you don't have to squeeze, drive your head in, kiss him or anything. That stops the game, reset and go again. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Alright, let's give it a go. On 3, 1, 2, 3.